Hi, this is Eric with the Sign Industry Podcast, brought to you by Van Ladder, Signs of the Times Magazine, and also Mimaki.
Hey, hello.
Yeah. And with me today, let's introduce our guests.
So I'm Josh Hope with Mimaki USA.
I'm Hugo Gonzalez with Mimaki.
And we're going to talk today about some industrial printers and some braille printers that are out, and some pretty amazing things that they've got going on. So first of all, let's start with you guys. What did you bring here with you today? I see you got a couple of samples here. Let's start with those.
I sure did. These are fully printed Braille samples that we're printing on our new with our new Braille app on the UJF series printers.
It's an app?
Yeah, we have a plugin for Illustrator that fully automates the design process or the layering process for the print.
Very cool. Very cool. So what exactly is the process that this new printer does?
So it really simplified it. You take your fully colored designed, your full color design, and then you simply select the parts that you want to raise it, and you tell it how high you want to raise it, and then everything else it does itself. It does a white coat so that you can print the final color at the end.
Oh, very cool. So like if you want it to be 032, you can print it in 032 or
yeah, it
or
works on
whatever.
a system of levels.
Okay.
So it's just it gives you steps of 0.3 millimeters.
All right. And the braille end of it. So if say one of the fabricators or whatever is typing in what, it automatically switches everything over to braille. And
No, we do not have a design component to this, so you would have to bring in the fully designed sign and then do the layering for the grip.
okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, very cool. I like this. I picked it up and I looked at it, and I'm from the old raster ball days when you had the little needle and you would poke them in there back and forth. And I like this because, like you were mentioning to me earlier, the very first thing people do is they come and they try to pop those out, and these don't. So that's
Had a
really
lady
nice.
break a nail on it yesterday.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we should have filmed it, but
No
we
doubt.
missed that. So.
Look, it's so tough we break nails.
Yeah.
So
The other thing that's really cool about this, so Mimaki's, we've been able to print Braille and ADA for more than a year, but with the new software and the new, the latest UJF printers, which is our benchtop flatbed printers, any of them, this is now like 400% faster than it was before.
Yeah. So now you're printing the bed in about an hour. The full
holy
bed.
cow.
Which size bed?
So this is for the 6042, the 24-inch by 16 and a half, and the 7151. It's about an hour and a half.
Yes, and that's 20 by 28.
20 by 28. Yeah.
Holy cow. That's,
So yeah, for us, what I think is really cool is the fact that this works with existing machines. It works with the software that comes with them. So nobody has to buy anything new to do this, right? So if you want to go into a whole new market, it's right there for you.
just a plug and play.
That is it.
Wow, that's very, very cool.
Yeah.
So you were talking about industrial printers as well, and we were over there earlier. We got some B-roll, and we asked questions and everything else. You guys got some really cool equipment over there. What is the thing that you got coming up that you want to talk about?
Well, we got two main things. I'll let you talk about the JFX 600.
Okay. So yeah, one of the exciting things is that we now have the JFX 600 2531. This is 8 foot by 10 foot print area.
Awesome.
So it's super sized. You know, it's a really a great production printer. You can either do two different modes. You can do the kind of like a double bed mode where you print 4x8s on the front and the back, and we have a feature called toggle print that allows you to, have continuous production. So you print the front while you set up the back, and then while it prints the back, you set up the front. So the printer does not have to stop at all for, setting the media on the table.
Wow.
But you could also have the full layout mode where you can print the full 8x10, and of course with it, you want different isolated vacuum zones. So we now have 9 vacuum zones to section off a lot smaller sections if you are working with smaller media, or you just turn them all on if you're doing like the full 8x10 sheets.
That saves a lot of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what was the one you wanted to?
The CFX.
Yeah.
So most people are familiar. If you know Mimaki, you know the JFX series, right? I mean, it's a flatbed printer that we've had for more than 10 years, I think, at this
it's been
point.
quite a while. I remember when it first showed up.
Yeah, and it's one of the
Expo.
best-selling flatbed printers because the price and the speed. It's a workhorse. They're great. But what we haven't had is a good flatbed cutting system to match along with that. And Mimaki's been making flatbed cutters, flatbed plotters for more than 40 years. And so we finally came out with a production level machine that can do, that will have a router. It does V-cut. You've got reciprocating heads. You've got tangential heads. You've got flat blades. All of that in a system that's expandable. So by expandable, is it not only expandable with the tools, but also you can buy it in a 4x8 size, and then if your production starts to increase, you can then add an additional bed that gets it to 8x10, and then even a third bed that gets it to 8x15. Right? So as your business grows and as you start to take on more clients that have more demands, either in now I need to be able to route, or now I need to be able to go to larger media, it covers the whole thing.
Right, and everything's right there. You just gotta plug it in and go.
Yeah.
The engineering of your company is amazing to me. I went over there and I'm looking at some of this stuff. I've been in the sign business a very long time, and so I'm looking at this machinery and I'm like, that is very well thought out and put together. I'm really super impressed with it, and I also understand your customer service is like crazy good. So I've heard some really good things about you guys customer service wise. So I ask a question of everybody that we interview, and I'll ask each one of you individually. All right, first of all, how did you get, we'll ask Josh first, how did you get into the sign industry? What is it that brought you aboard?
So I tell you what, I'm going to tell you how I got into the printing industry because it's a slightly more interesting story. But when I got out of photography school many years ago, I was looking for a job, and I worked at a bike shop for a while, which was a lot of fun but did not pay very well. And I interviewed at a newspaper in Georgia. And I was going to be their camera person, like shooting stat film and things like that for black and white layout.
That's old time. Film.
Yeah.
He said film.
Yes, film. Ruby Lith. Let's go. And I went home, and the next day, the guy who I interviewed with, his name was Melvin Honeycutt. He called me and he said, "We'd like to offer you the job. This is what it pays." I said, "Great, I'll take it." He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "You're absolutely sure?" I said, "Is there something I need to know?"
Oh, there's a catch.
He said, "Yeah, you need to know that once you get in the printing industry, you're never getting out again." And that was 35 years ago. And here we are.
There you are. Yeah. So the question I asked, do you love your job?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I love it. You know, Mimaki being an engineering company, we come up with so many new products. I love working with it. I love color management. I'm one of those weird people. Get to work with great people, and honestly, the printing industry as a whole has taken me all around the world, and I'm super thankful to be here. And I encourage anybody to get into it. I mean, you just walk around the show and get a feel for the fact that no matter where you go, you're always going to see printed things. Like it's everywhere. It's
Right.
everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, how'd you get into this world?
Well, I was a little later than Josh. I started my career actually in oil field engineering.
Oh, right.
So you can see the
This
connection.
is, here we
Yeah,
go.
it's
This is
absolutely.
interesting. Yeah.
But my degree is actually in geology. So one of the things that I carried was I can learn new skills on the job. Like, you know, and I've always been attracted to graphic design, and I've always enjoyed. I taught myself how to use like the Adobe software, you know, Photoshop, and for a while I was restoring damaged photography for a photographer locally in my
very
area.
cool.
And that inspired me to go ahead and get like a graphic design degree. So I went to community college to get my degree, and it happened that the local Mimaki manager, when he was looking for a demo specialist, that was his alma mater, so he went there first to find somebody to, you know, work in his shop. And and the rest is history. And I've now been in the industry for 14 years.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
You're sucked in. You're
Oh,
into
yeah.
it. You love your job?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to do a lot of different roles with Mimaki, so I've gotten the chance to explore different aspects of the industry. So right now, I'm a segment specialist. So I do I work on a lot of the marketing for the new flatbeds in general. But I've been lucky enough for this show, very busy to work on all these machines that we had come out this season.
Yeah, it's really impressive everything that you got going on over there. It's a lot of machinery. I mean, that's probably the busiest booth of the whole expo. Is
I
that
believe
one
so,
over
too.
there? You guys got what, 50 people working over there? It's nuts.
It's there's a lot, and it's such a great team effort. The applications team, the events team, everybody pulls together, and these shows always blow me away because you're in here the day before the show starts, and every booth looks like an absolute wreck. And then you come in the next morning and everything's ready to go, everything's polished, machines are running. It's just like a little bit of magic every time.
Yeah. I can't. The oil and geology, or that's where you.
I took a roundabout way of
that just cracks me up. I mean, I can see a photographer getting into it, but wow, that's crazy. So, what is it that you guys are looking toward in the future? Every company's always doing innovations and trying to improve and everything else. And with your company, I've had a long talk with a few of the people that are owners of the company, or the guys that are here, and they've got some things coming up that are pretty cool. A lot of them, they say, "Oh, we can't tell you," which is understandable. So, what is it that most excites you guys about what you see coming up?
Honestly, I'm probably more excited about the stuff that I don't see coming up. And what I mean by that is, in 2018, Mimaki came out with a full color 3D printer.
Yeah.
Right? And that came to us, and they basically said, "Here you go. See what you can do with it."
Right.
And so we got into that whole wild thing, right? The cutter. I know that's not a new technology for everybody, obviously, but it's more new to us. So that was an exciting thing to learn. Like, I'm just excited to see what's the next thing that they come out with and see where that takes us.
What about you? What do you like? What are you excited about coming up?
I do like the small features that seem kind of like an afterthought, or like, oh, by the way, it can do this, and something that we're able to turn into a process that turns into a sellable product. Something like the layering that became Braille. I've been doing layered textures for 14 years now. It was one of the cool things I liked about UV ink, that we could just send the print a few times and then you have a texture.
Right.
So it was kind of like scratching my head for a long time, like, how can I sell this? And we did find people who found it interesting and found uses for it, but it was kind of neat that, 10 years down the line, this is the exact same process that they're using to build Braille.
That's so
it's
cool.
like kind of what we don't see yet with the little features that we have, and converting them into something brand new.
I can tell you're excited about it because you light up, your eyes are like, oh yeah, you can't believe just what this. I can tell you guys really, really like what you do.
The other thing is, like, when we come out with a new technology or we come out with a new machine and we say, okay, well, obviously people are going to do this and this with it. And then you put it out into the market and you come back and people are just doing things that we never thought of.
Yeah, that's a question I was going to ask. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've done this before myself. I've gone ahead and I'm used the machine and I've done such and such back and forth, whatever. And I'm like, if I did this or did that or put this piece over here, put that piece over here to make things easier, I find that, a sign guy's innovation is like off the top of the head. They just... Right. I can do that, and then they do it. Do you have a lot of customers coming back and giving you suggestions on what they like and what they would like to see?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the great things about, Mimaki USA. Our parent company is Mimaki Engineering, and Mimaki Engineering, even this week, sent a team of people here to walk around, see what's new, to listen to customers, to hear our feedback on what do we like, what we would like to see next. They really like to talk to the customers and all. Seeing the things that people are coming up with. I'm sure you saw in our booth, we have this big kind of silver music display wall piece.
Yeah.
That was printed on a JFX 600 flatbed, and that was a company called Bold Designs out of Miami, right?
Yeah. We're going to be speaking with them here in just a little bit.
So that guy's, he's wild, and that's the idea. Like you say, JFX 600, people are going to make signs with it, and you think like square signs. That thing is like popping off the wall. It's got LEDs. It's got motion. It's got
the records are spinning.
blows you away. And
Yeah.
like, nobody in engineering is going to say, "Oh, that's what somebody's going to do." But yeah,
Right.
you put that out into the world, and then you just kind of stand back and see what
Yeah,
happens.
you give a creative person a new tool, and they're
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
completely, change their
Yep.
everybody.
Yep.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna hold you guys too long because I know you're really super busy. You got 500 people over there going through your booth. So what I want you to do is take a look at the camera. Go ahead and say who you are and where you're from, and then we're gonna close things down. So go ahead.
Sounds good. Josh Hope with Mimaki USA.
I'm Hugo Gonzalez with Mimaki USA, and we're both out of our Atlanta office.
And this is Eric Larson with the Sign Industry Podcast, brought to you by Van Ladder, brought to you by Signs of the Times, and now Mimaki. So hey, let's have a good time. We'll see you doing some other stuff here at the Expo. We'll catch you in a bit.